Welcome to the Parenting Podcast
Hi,
this
everybody.
week. We're excited to have Adam and Heidi Hershey with us today to share with us. They have 5 beautiful children, and so they have a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience with raising kids, plus they're full of the Word of God. They're just awesome people, and so we're excited to have them share with you today some of their insights on parenting. One of the things we want to talk about today was how to handle yourself and keep cool when you're trying to discipline. And I know it's hard because sometimes it's in public, like your kid has a meltdown at Walmart because they wanted that little baby bottle or that little baby bottle thing that's full of candy or shaped like candy. I don't know. It's candy, but they want that. They have to have that today, and they start to have a meltdown, especially when they're little or whatever. And you're in public, and it's really hard to keep your cool. You just want to grab them by the hair and drag them out. But thankfully, I don't see very many people doing that. But that's what's going on the inside. Yeah. But we lose our cools in other ways. But how do we keep our cool while we're disciplining our kids and still making the discipline fruitful? Can you give us some insights on that?
Yeah, I guess for me, discipline is something that is a heart thing, right? So when you're viewing an action that your child's doing, whether it's at a store or in the home or anything like that, to me, I view that as a symptom. The words that are coming out, the tantrum that is showing up, all that is a symptom of a core issue of the heart. Okay, so I make the decision that I'm not going to deal with a symptom in public. They're my child. They're having an issue. I'm not going to make the issue larger than it already is as the parent and come down to their level. You don't want to be the people that, the people in Walmart are going around the corner and they're calling, some special number and turning you in as a parent. You don't want to be that parent. So, I take a long-term view in all parenting, that anytime those symptoms come up, I always think of discipleship. Discipline is discipleship. Yeah. And so I look at that symptom and I say, we're going to deal with this. But then I realize that when I'm dealing with it, I'm looking at the symptom, but I'm going to deal with their heart. Mm-hmm. And so I automatically take note of the symptom so I can bring it up and teach on it in a moment that we get off in privacy. So
sometimes I think as parents we get kind of messed up because we see the immediacy of what they are doing, and so all of our attention goes straight to what they are doing, wanting to fix it, and we give ourselves the ability to react in whatever way we feel necessary to fix the immediate problem without controlling ourselves. And so if we take a step back and control ourselves and communicate to them and discipline them as necessary, if we don't do that, then we're kind of opening a bigger can of worms. We've lessened ourselves as the authority figure and made them realize that they can still get away with certain things at times. And we've lessened ourselves in the sight of God because we've just, I can lose control. Basically, if we're going to yell at our child, we're saying that I can lose control and yell at you, but you can't.
Right.
And so it gives the child the wrong perspective of authority, how they're supposed to respond to it. You can't yell, but I can. And really, is there honesty and truthfulness in that?
Right.
I just lost my verse.
That's so good what you're saying. So good. Yeah.
Just found it. In James, it says, "Dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires." So when we react out of the anger in yelling, it doesn't produce righteousness in us or in our children. We're not getting the end result that we want in our children by yelling at them.
Right. So I in the practical example of saying you're walking through Target or Walmart or the grocery store and you tell the child no, that doesn't fit in your budget or whatever. You tell the child no, and they flip out, they're on the floor, they're screaming or whatever. If you can ignore them and move on, and they realize they're not getting your attention, sometimes they'll they'll change, right? If it doesn't change, sometimes we have to realize that the discipline and discipleship of your children is a larger item than the grocery cart. So you just leave the grocery cart there with everything full in it, grab your child carefully, walk them out to the car, sit in the car till they calm down emotionally and you calm down emotionally, and then you talk about where their heart is at. You try to get into their heart, where their heart is at with God. What does God think about what you just did? And work through that to the place where they can recognize that what they did was wrong before God, and that it was also wrong before you, and that we're not going to live this way. We worship God in our actions all day long, not just at a church service, And so then I lead them into confessing their sin to God, which is usually the hardest part for a child, because they don't know how to do it. And so they'll say, I don't know how to pray. I don't know how to do it. I don't know. And they have a little hard time. So you lead them word for word through confessing their sin to God. And then they need to apologize to you too, confess to you as a parent, because they did sin against you. They dishonored you, right? And then grab hands, pray together. Give them a huge hug, because that's what it's about. Wow, you made the greatest decision ever, right? Nobody's perfect, but you made a great decision here. You did something bad. We talked to you about it. You apologize to God. He's happy. I'm happy. Hug. Let's go inside. Let's finish our grocery shopping. And if possible, don't necessarily get them that thing, but reward them in some way, for making the good decision that they made.
That's so good. So many great points. Such great wisdom that you brought us today. So you can look for more of Adam and Heidi's things on livecompelling.org. You could probably just Google Adam and Heidi Hershey Ministries too to find out more about them. So we appreciate you guys coming and sharing with us today. So we'll see you next week.